My name is Leela Singh. I founded St. Germain Ascension Academy in September 2020 after I had a near-death experience. St. Germain came to me during that experience and presented me with the violet flame. He also caused healing to occur throughout my body. I am filled with gratitude and love for St. Germain, and I vowed to spread his teachings throughout the world in the hope that others will experience and achieve the same healing and love as I did. Today, I am reading the section on visualization taken from the book Unveiled Mysteries, written by Ballard under the pen name Godfrey Ray King. In this section, St. Germain explains about visualization and how it can be used to manifest your wishes. Question to St. Germain by Ballard. What is true visualization, and what happens when one does visualize? Answer by St. Germain. True visualization, he answered, is God's attribute and power of sight acting in the mind of man. When one consciously pictures in his mind a desire he wishes fulfilled, he is using one of the more powerful means of bringing it into his visible, tangible experience. There is much confusion and uncertainty in the minds of many concerning what actually happens when one visualizes or makes a mental picture of something he desires. No form ever came into existence anywhere in the universe unless someone had consciously held a picture of that form in his thought. For every thought contains a picture of the idea within it. Even an abstract thought has a picture of some kind, or at least a picture that is one's mental concept of it. I will give you an exercise by which one may develop conscious control and direct his visualization activities for definite accomplishment. There are several steps in the process which every student can use at any and all the times. The practice does bring visible, tangible results if really applied. The first step is to determine upon a definite plan or desire to be fulfilled. In this, say that it is constructive, honorable, and worthy of your time and the effort. Be sure to examine your motive for bringing such a creation impression. It must be honest, both toward yourself and the rest of the world, not merely to follow a whim or gratify appetites of the physical senses. Remember, there is a vast difference between use, desire, and appetite. Use is the fulfilling of the great universal law of service. Desire is the expanding activity of God, through which manifestation is constantly sustained, and is perfection enlarging itself. Appetite is but habitat established by the continued gratification of the feeling nature. It is but energy focused and qualified by suggestions from the outer activity of life. Be very sure that there is no lurking feeling within that you would be glad to benefit at the expense of another. A real student, and only such a one, will get the benefit out of this kind of training. Takes the reins into his own hands and determines to discipline and consciously control the human self. He chooses which tower should not be in his world, and through the process of picturing within his mind, designs and brings into manifestation a definitely determined plan of life. The second step is to state your plan in words as concisely and clearly as possible. Write this down. Thus, you make a record of your desire in the outer, visible, tangible world. The third step is to close the eyes and see within your mind a mental picture of your desire or plan in its finished, perfect condition and activity. Contemplate the fact that your ability to create and see a picture within your consciousness is God's attribute of sight acting in you. The activity of seeing and the power to create are attributes of your God self, which you know and feel is within you at all times. God's life and power are acting within your consciousness to propel into your outer world. The picture you are seeing and feeling within yourself keep reminding the intellect that the ability to picture is an attribute of God. The attribute of sight, the power to feel, experience, and associate with the perfected picture is God's power. The substance used in the world without to make the form in your picture and plan is God's pure substance. Then you must know God is the doer, the doing, and the deeds of every constructive form and action that ever has been set forth into the world of manifestation. When you thus use all the constructive processes, it is impossible for your plan not to come into your visible world. Read your desire or plan over as many times in the day as possible, and always just before retiring, because on going to sleep immediately after contemplating the picture in your mind, a full impression is left upon the human consciousness, undisturbed for a number of hours, enabling it to be recorded deeply in the outer activity and allowing the force to be generated and accumulated, which propels it into the outer experience of life. In this way, you can carry any desire or picture into your consciousness as it enters the great silence in sleep. There, it becomes charged by God's greatest power in activity, which is always within the heart of the great silence. Under no circumstances discuss either your desire or the fact that you are visualizing with anyone whatsoever. This is imperative. Do not talk to yourself about it out loud or even in a whisper, for you should realize that the greater the accumulation of energy generated by your visualization, contemplation, and the feeling, the reality of your picture, the quicker it will come into your outer experience. Thousands of desires, ambitions, or ideals would have manifested into the outer experience of individuals if that they had not discussed them with friends or acquaintances. When you decide to definitely bring about an experience through directed visualization, you become the law of God, the law of the one, to whom there is no opposite law. You must make your own decision and stand back of your own decree with all your power. That means you must take an unshakable, determined stand. To do so, know and feel that it is God's desiring, God's feeling, God knowing, God manifesting, and God controlling everything concerning it. This is the law of one, God and God only. Until this is fully understood, one cannot and never will get your manifestation. For the moment the human element enters, you are taking it out of God's hands. And of course, it cannot express because you are neutralizing it by the human qualities of time, space, place, and 1001 other imaginary conditions which God does not recognize. No one can ever know God as long as he considers a force opposed to God. For whenever he acknowledges that two forces can act, He has a resultant quality of neutralizing activity. When you have neutralization, you have no definite quality either way. You merely have nothing or nothing in your manifestation. When you acknowledge God, the One, you have only perfection manifesting perfectly, instantly, for there is nothing to oppose or neutralize it. No element of time so is established unto you, for there is none to oppose what God decrees. Conditions can never improve for anyone until he desires perfection and stops acknowledging a power opposed to God, or that there is something either in or outside of him that can prevent God perfection from expressing one's very acknowledgement of a condition that is less than God. That is his deliberate choice of an imperfection, and that kind of choice is the fall of man. This is deliberate and intentional because he is free every moment to think whatsoever he chooses to think. Incidentally, it takes no more energy to think a thought or picture of perfection than it does one of imperfection. You are the creator, localized to design and create perfection in your world and place in the universe. If perfection and dominion are to be expressed, you must know and acknowledge only the law of the One. The One exists and controls completely everywhere in the universe. You are the self-consciousness of life, the one supreme presence of the great flame of love and light. You alone are the chooser, the decreer of the qualities and forms you wish to pour your life into. For you are the only energizer of your world and all it contains. When you think or feel, part of your life energy goes forth to sustain your creation. Cast out of mind that all doubt or fear of the fulfillment of that which you are picturing. Should any such thoughts or feelings, which are after all but human emanations, that do not replace them by the full acknowledgement of yourself, the One, further than that, be completely unconcerned about it, except during the time that you are visualizing. Everything in the universe rushes to fulfill your desire, your command, your picture, for it is all constructive and therefore agrees with the original divine plan of self-conscious life. If the human side of us really agrees to the divine plan and accepts it, there can be no such thing as delay or failure, for all energy has the inherent quality of perfection within it and rushes to serve its creator. Perfection is the only predestination there is. As your desire or picture is constructive, you are God. You are God seeing his own plan. When God sees it, it's an irrevocable decree or command to appear. Now, in the creation of this earth and system of worlds, God said, "Let there be light," and light appeared. It did not take eons of time to create light. The same mighty God is in you now, and when you speak or see it, it is his attribute of both sight and speech which is acting in and through you. If you realize what this truly means, you can command by his full power and authority for you or your life consciousness. It is only the self-consciousness of your life that command, picture, or desire a constructive and a perfect plan. Every constructive plan is his plan. Therefore, you know God is acting, commanding. Let this desire or plan be fulfilled now, and it is done. Here Saint Germain finished speaking, and bidding me a smiling goodbye for the time being, disappeared from my sight. I turned my footsteps towards home. Addendum. In 1989, I, Leela Singh, migrated to the United States without much money in my pocket. Within 3 years, I was able to earn a teaching degree. I also bought a condominium with just $100 in a seed money. So great was my hunger and desire for a home of my own that I had begun to live, eat, and sleep with the thought of living in my own home. Nothing else was allowed to enter my consciousness. I was not aware at that time that I was using the God power within me. But when my condo actually manifested itself, it blew my mind to smithereens. Everything had just unfolded, one after the next. The right people were put in my path, and the right events just materialized themselves out of thin air. To this day, I'm still in awe of the mighty God power within each of us. My aim is to help you find that God power within you and to use it to your benefit. I know that Saint Germain can help because he's the Lord of this Aquarius age, and he has made everything easier than it was before. You can learn more about Saint Germain by listening to some of the teachings on Saint Germain Ascension Academy and reading books such as Unveiled Mysteries, The Violet Flame, and the I Am Teachings. Please share this video. Namaste, and thank you for listening. In love and light, Leela.